Greetings. It's 8:37 p.m. Today is July 12th, 2022. And this is the Dr. Julius Nairi CBPM Division 421 study group. Tonight, we'll be looking at our UNIA-ACL Constitution. So let me see, Control Find Constitution. Officer found guilty, 3 months. 3 months. 3 months suspension. Intoxicated. Okay, in the education section, before we start, let me do officially open up the meeting with the pledge to the red, black, and green flag. See if the study, see if anybody called in.
Welcome to free conference calling. Please enter your host code or press star to join the conference. We will now connect you to your call. You are the first attendee in this conference. Your host has joined.
All right, got the conference line up. So before we start, we always start with the pledge. I'll do the pledge to the red, black, and green flag. I commit my body, mind, and spirit to the protection, defense, and security of the red, black, and green. I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa and the liberation of her scattered Black children. I accept for myself and my descendants the teachings of universal African nationalism, and I promise that our children will be instilled with the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people, in order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail until all Black people are free and united through one God, one aim, one destiny. Race first. All right. So now we got that out of the way. Yeah, sharing the right stuff. No, come on, man. Hold on. Stop sharing. Just open up the file. Just playing around. All right. Fine. Take time. There it was. So, according to the UNIA-ACL Constitution, section titled Education, states the Constitution of the Universal Negro Improvement Association shall be taught to members and officers of each division at least once every 3 months by the president of the division for the good and welfare of all concerned. So have a constitutional requirement to carry out this work. And it's my pleasure to do so. But yeah, if we are not studying the Constitution once every 3 months, we're not doing the work of the UNIA, and we're basically illegitimate as a government. So this is Division 421's 3-month study course. We haven't had one in a while, but we're doing one today. First thing I wanted to touch on was qualifications for high and divisional officers. Page 28. First of all, failure of official to qualify. Section 3 states of Article 4, Section 3 of the UNIA Constitution states, original Constitution states, no person elected to a high office of the Universal Negro Improvement Association shall hold office until his credentials as to his character and qualifications have satisfied the High Executive Council. In case a person elected to a high office is rejected by the High Executive Council, the President General and Administrator shall have the power to appoint a person to fill the position of the person rejected until the next session of the convention. No person elected to high office. This must be related to High Executive Council. So let's go back to the top of Article 4, titled Officials, Officers, Elections, and Appointments. Section 1, the rulers of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League shall be a potentate and supreme commissioner. This has been amended, so I'm going to read the amendments because we no longer have a potentate or supreme commissioner. The officials of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League shall be President General, First Assistant President General, and Second Assistant President General, Third and Fourth Assistant President Generals, a Secretary General, First and Second Assistant Secretary General, a High Chancellor, a Counselor General, an Auditor General, a Chaplain General, an International Organizer, a Minister of Education, and other ministers and officials as may be deemed necessary, all of whom shall form the High Executive Council representing divisions throughout the world. Be it resolved that everything in the Constitution contradictory or in conflict with the above be and is hereby repealed and declared null and void. So the High Executive Council is a fundamental principle and institution of the UNIA. Everything kind of rolls down from the High Executive Council, but if we don't have a legitimate High Executive Council, then everything is null and void. Section 2, the offices of the President General and Administrator, the First Assistant President General, the Second Assistant President General, Third Assistant President General, and Fourth Assistant President General shall be elected. Their term of office shall be 4 years, providing their conduct conforms to the best interests of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. So this is how the offices of the High Executive Council are staffed. Shall be elected. So all of these officers are elected. The other officers that make up the High Executive Council are appointed by the President General. All other officers forming the High Executive Council shall be appointed by President General, confirmed by the convention. Such appointment shall be for the same period as that of the administration, providing that their conduct conforms to the best interest of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. Be it resolved that everything in the Constitution contradictory to or in conflict with the above be and is hereby repealed and declared null and void. Failure of official to qualify. No person shall be elected to high office of the Universal Negro Improvement Association shall hold office until his, her credentials, character, and qualifications have satisfied the High Executive Council. In case a person elected to high office is rejected by the High Executive Council, the President General Administrator shall have the power to appoint a person to fill that position until the next session of the convention. So they're appointed. No person. Okay. Let's see, where else would I want to see qualifications? Okay, here we go. Qualifications for high and divisional offices. So divisional officers, divisional officers is, so the original qualifications from the original Constitution during Garvey's time states the qualifications of candidates for high office of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League and for candidates for divisional offices shall be as follows. Registered active membership with all dues paid up, shall be a Negro, shall be proven to be conscientious to the cause of racial uplift, shall not be married to anyone of alien race, shall be free from criminal conviction, shall be of reputable moral standing and good education, and shall undergo a 6 months course of instruction at any university of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. So we got a university, any university of, okay. And that only when the student graduates that he be allowed to represent the organization, and for a correspondence course of 1 year shall be established for the same purpose. And this course shall be extended to all persons of the race who desire to take it. And then, all right, then they made per the amendments, the qualifications of candidates in high office of Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League and for candidates for divisional office shall be as follows. Registered active members with all dues paid up shall be an African. So pay, be an African, conscientious, married to an African, shall be free from criminal conviction, shall be a reputable moral standing and good education. Candidates for high office to the UNIA should have a minimum of 2 years good service at the divisional level. So one of the things that they took out, and I don't understand why they did this, shall be a reputable moral standing, and this is what they took out. So requirements, they took out the requirement of undergoing a 6 months course of instruction at the University of Universal Negro Improvement Association, and that only when the student graduates that he be allowed to represent the organization. And for a correspondence course of 1 year shall be established for the same purpose. And this course shall be extended to all persons of the race who desire to take it. So officially from the Division 421 standpoint, we hold true to the requirement of the 6 months course. The amendment just makes it too easy, in my opinion, for anybody to be in high office. And we have to reinstill a rites of passage. I don't see a rites of passage for an individual to be qualified for high office based on the amendment. Shall be a reputable understanding candidate. High executive council should have minimum 2 years good service at the divisional level. So 2 years of good service doesn't necessarily say that you've undergone a course of study or achieved any significant level of certification. You could pay 2 years of dues, which is like $100, attend meetings, and then you automatically qualify for high office. But I think we've got to be more mature as a government. It's 2022. This amendment was made in 2005. So we've had 17 years to develop our University of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and develop our training course. So we're not looking back. We're not trying to diminish the reputation or the qualities of this office. So here at Division 421, officially, we will require 6 months, the completion of a 6 month training course, which would be course of African philosophy, and the 1 year correspondence course. All right, what else do we got? Let me see. Look up Legion. African Legion. Surgeon General. Rules and regulations for the Universal African Legions of the UNIA and ACL. Section 1, this auxiliary body shall be known as the Universal African Legions and shall consist of men who are active members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League and between the ages of 18 and 55 years old and in good health. This auxiliary body shall have the special designation of the Universal African Legions and shall prepare men for service by teaching them military skill and discipline and by registering them according to the various trades in which they have been trained. There shall be among them non-commissioned officers and men of 3 classes. First class, master workmen, second class, skilled workmen, and third class, unskilled workmen. The master and skilled must have trade identifications. Unskilled workmen must be grouped without trade identifications. Article 2, location, section 1, the quarters of Universal African Legion shall be Liberty Hall of the meeting place of the division of the UNIA-ACL in which they are formed and unto which they shall be attached. Headquarters of the Universal African Legion shall be with the parent body of the UNIA-ACL and shall be under the direct supervision of the Minister of the Legions. But the Minister of Legions has been taken out. Like, you know, that's kind of... I had to go back and look up Minister of Legions. Article 3, commissioned officers. Section 1, the Minister of Legion staff shall consist of generals, lieutenant generals, major generals, and commanders, and such other departmental general officers that may be expedient for the successful conduct of the Universal African Legions. Section 2, the generals, lieutenant generals, major generals, and commanders shall be appointed by the Minister of Legions with the approval of the President General and Administrator. All commissioners shall rank as brigadier generals and shall be posted as to their duties where the Legion is concerned in their respective fields. The president of each local division and chapter by virtue of his office shall be ranking commander of his division. The president of each local division and chapter by virtue of his office shall be ranking commander of his division. All orders affecting the Universal African Legion issued of divisions or chapters shall be issued through the president of the local chapter or local division or chapter, who in turn shall issue to the military commander of his division or chapter, all of which shall first be approved by the President General and Administrator. Military commander. All orders affecting Universal African Legion issued of divisions or chapters shall be issued through the president of the local division of the chapter, who in turn shall issue to the military commander of his division or chapter, all of which shall first be approved by the President General and Administrator. Section 3, commissioned officers of the various divisions or brigades, when fully organized, shall be as follows. 1, commander, president of the local division. Let me see. Military commander shall be issued to the military commander of his division or chapter. Military commander. So commander and military commander, colonel, honorary colonel, inactive except for consultation or advice, lieutenant colonel, majors, captains, first lieutenant, second lieutenant, cadet, or Boy Scouts. Okay. Staff officers insignia, I'm not worried about that. Let me see. Minister of Legion. Wait, what's that word? Minister of Legions. Minister of Legions, page 28. So Minister of Legions amended and eradicated in 2005. So how do you eliminate the position of the Minister of Legions, but we still have responsibilities through the legions for the Minister of Legion. That makes no sense. The Minister of Legion, Section 28, the Minister of Legion shall be the administrative officer of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. He shall be subjected to the commands of the Potentate, President General, and Executive Council. He shall nominate his staff and chief thereof with the approval of the President General and Potentate, who shall make the actual appointment. He shall use every means by travel, correspondence, and appeal to have a division of the Legion fan in every city or district. He shall regulate all details as to uniforms and shall give orders for other movements on the instruction of the President General or Executive Council. He shall recommend privates and officers to the Commander-in-Chief for promotion. He shall nominate his staff, President General, his staff, regulate all details as to uniforms and shall give orders for other movements on the instruction of the President General. Why did they take that out? Article 6, requirements of officials and high officers. All officials and high officers of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League shall be Negroes, and their consorts or wives shall be Negroes. No one shall be admitted to the high office of the association whose life companion is of an alien race. Okay. Try to find something about alien. Boycotts of other people in our community. Article 8, African in their own communities have a right to boycott any alien business that disrespect Africans or African values or does not employ Africans. The UNIA-ACL supports African businesses in the African community and recommends that Africans should always buy Black first. That's what y'all put in there, man. There should be community control of the police in all African communities. At present, in much of Western world, the police operate in effect as an alien army of occupation in African communities. Demands the following minimum actions should be taken. Article 19, institutional violence against African people / police brutality. UNIA-ACL notes with alarm and concern the increased communal violence against African people in the countries of Western Europe and North America, as well as systemic police brutality perpetrated against our race in North America, South Africa, and Western Europe. In many cases, police brutality has resulted in the killing of African men, women, and children. Yo, what are we doing with the Constitution? Like, notes, you making a note? These acts of violence, whether committed by individuals, groups acting in concert, or by police, city, have either not been punished by the courts or where offenders have been found guilty, light and trivial punishments have been handed down. Beatings and brutalization of African people in the prisons of the USA continue to occur with distressing frequency. UNIA-ACL demands the following minimum actions be taken. There should be community control of police in all African communities. The issue of police brutality, police murder, and communal violence against Africans in the United States and South Africa should be brought before the United Nations. They are clear violations of human rights. It is imperative, like this is a complaint letter. This is not assigning any responsibilities to anybody. The issue of police brutality, police murder, and communal violence against Africans in the United States and South Africa should be brought before the United Nations. By who? They are clear violations of human rights. It is imperative that when Africans are brought before the judicial system in countries where they form significant communities, they should be assembled a jury of their peers. Every effort should be made to have direct representation from the African community on the jury panel. Where crimes of violence are committed against African people anywhere, the punishment should be made to fit the crime. That's obvious. Africans should make themselves available for jury service in the communities as a matter of duty and conscience. Okay. Greetings, Sister Ifaniyi. Greetings, Sister Ifaniyi.
Greeting, Baba. How are you today?
I'm doing well. We didn't get a big turnout, but I'm just going through the Constitution. I'll probably be reading for another half hour.
Okay.
Did you have any questions or anything that you wanted to look at particularly?
No, I'm just trying to learn more so I can spread the word.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining. So I was looking at some of the recent stuff that they added into the Constitution. Let's see. And I'm trying to understand the purpose of it. What in the world? Okay. Article 18, European Unification. The express purpose of European unification is to enhance trade and commerce among the members of the European community. This unified bloc represents potential barriers with respect to the trade and commerce of the community of African nations. Because many African nations may lose the preferred status they have previously received from some European nations, it is imperative that the African economic community, in order to compete, on equal terms, with the rest of the world. Yeah, I don't understand why this is here. Like, it seems like recently the Constitution was updated to add observations, but not necessarily responsibilities. Proper racial identifier for so-called Negro, colored, Black people of the world is African. So it's good that, you know, we make that distinction, I guess. All peoples of African ethnicity in the diaspora are the African abroad. All peoples of the African ethnicity on the continent are the Africans at home. So that makes sense. That's definition. Article 17, 1992, 500 years. So what's that? 1492 to 1992. The UNIA and ACL strongly opposed the celebrations in 1992 by the Aryans of Western Europe and the Americas of the quintessential anniversary of the alleged discovery of the Americas by Christopher Columbus for these reasons. This discovery implies that nothing existed anywhere in the world until it's authenticated by the presence of the Aryan white man of the West. Christopher Columbus did not discover the Americas. This is an observation. UNIA-ACL strongly opposes any participation of African people at home and abroad in the Columbus celebration. Instead, we should take part in commemorations of our African Holocaust. UNIA-ACL proposes that each Columbus Day from 1992 onward should be commemorated as African Holocaust Day. Okay. African Holocaust Day. Agriculture, food supply. All African people have the right to wholesome, nutritious food. The UNIA-ACL supports the right to take full responsibility to produce and or provide their own food supply. We are appalled at the loss and destruction of land throughout the world where Africans reside. In instances where there are natural disasters such as famine, drought, earthquake, etc., we shall investigate any and all aid projects to make certain that they are authentic. It's a big responsibility. Article 14, our flag, the red, black, and green. This tricolor was adopted as a flag of the African race by the 1920 International Convention of the UNIA-ACL, held in New York City, presided over by the founder, the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey, national hero of Jamaica. Red is the blood that must be shed for African redemption. I've also been taught that, I mean, I don't know, this is interesting that they put this in here with such confidence. I've also been taught that, red is important and it's at the top of the flag because, it's the blood that binds us. It's the blood that makes us family. So it's not just the blood that was shed, even though that is important, but it's also the blood that brings us together and makes us family. But the second color is black. That's the melanin, that's the people. But as I've learned, not all of our people are blessed to have the rich, deep, dark melanin. So that's why the blood is first over the skin, because our skin colors are different, but we all share ancestral blood. Black is for the color of our race. Black is also not just a color, but black is the source of all colors. And, even the scripture says, out of darkness came light, but black is the color, black is not just a color, it's all color. So in order for us to have all of these beautiful colors of people throughout the world, it implies that the first man and woman, must have been deeply melanated. You can't produce melanin from the lack of melanin, but you can have a lack of melanin or diminished melanin from a melanated person. And green represents the fields and forests of our ancestral homeland, Africa. That's been expanded as well. We feel, we lay claim to a lot of different land masses, including the United States. So green, it goes beyond just Africa, but specifically the motherland of Africa. Article 13, Global African Unity. The UNIA and ACL advocates global African unity, social, economic, political, cultural, for the purpose of achieving universal African power. Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. Like, how is this different from our first aim, though? The aim, number one aim, is a universal confraternity amongst the race. So I don't understand why they specifically felt the need to add this. Article 12, Southern Africa. The UNIA and ACL's position is that all of Southern Africa should be free of European domination. Freedom from European domination means not only political independence and one man, one vote, but also African control of the resources and economics of the countries of Southern Africa. Position is that all of Southern Africa should be free from European domination. What does that say about Northern Africa, Eastern Africa, Western Africa? UNIA's position is that all of, I would say, Africa should be free of European domination. Freedom from European domination means not only political independence and one man, one vote, but also African control of the resources and economies of the countries of Southern Africa. That is interesting. It's only Southern Africa. Homelessness, Article 11. All African organizations in general and the UNIA and ACL in particular have a duty towards the homeless in our communities. We are our brothers' keepers, and we must take active steps to assist our brothers and sisters in need. That's assist the needy, and we already have an aim for that. Education, public and private. Public, the UNIA-ACL's policy shall be to support the curriculum of inclusion in the public high schools. We should apply pressure through the school boards and the PTAs to implement this policy of inclusion. At the college and university level, public institutions should be moved towards a curriculum of inclusion through applying our voting strength to influence political candidates in this regard. So private education, UNIA-ACL believes that we should create our own schools to teach our children. Education should be related to an Afrocentric curriculum centered around the use of theory and practical applications that are connected to Black businesses and industry. We support the independent Black schools and colleges. UNIA-ACL's policy shall be to support the curriculum of inclusion in the public high schools. Interesting. The curriculum of inclusion. Okay, Article 9, Black family in crisis. The Black family is in crisis because we have lost our knowledge of African values and have not replaced them with an equivalent value system, including the extended family. The duties and responsibilities of the individual to himself and herself and to their families and the communities must be taught by all African organizations, schools, churches, mosques, activists. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm not a big fan of this last section that they added. Use of motto and rituals. That the use of the motto and the ritual of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League or any literature concerned therewith be registered, and also use of the motto. Wait. There will be registered, and also its colors and button and anything that may be considered a real and pertinent part of the activities of the association, that any infringement, misrepresentation, unjust use of any and all. All right, hold on, let me read the amended version. The use of the motto and the ritual of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League or any literature concerned therewith be registered, and also its colors and button and anything that may be considered a real and pertinent part of the activities of the association, and that any infringement, misrepresentation, or unjust use of any and all of the said articles be considered a direct and intentional desire to deceive and to misrepresent the aims and objects of the division or the parent body shall immediately take steps to protect all the interests of the association that may appear under the use of such articles, of such article or articles, and the usurpation of their positive right. And this shall be interpreted to mean action only against those who are not chartered or authorized or in any way connected with the UNIA. Improvement. New literature concerned with be registered, and also its colors button, anything may be considered a real and pertinent part of the activities of the association, and that any infringement, misrepresentation, or unjust use of any and all said articles be considered a direct and intentional desire to deceive and to misrepresent the aims and shall immediately take steps of the division or the parent body shall immediately take steps to protect all the interests of the association that may appear under the use of such article or articles. Okay, so yeah, we got to check people for misrepresentation of the UNIA, whether it's the flag, the motto, or literature. If people are if we feel that there's an attempted misrepresentation of our organization, we have a obligation to correct that. Properties: no member or members leaving the active membership of the UNIA for any purpose whatsoever shall hope to claim any equity in property or wealth, but that has been acquired by any voluntary contribution that he or she might have made during the time of his or her active membership. Any claim on a part of such membership will always be considered null and void. Non-active members have no right to any claims. Important legislation of 1938 convention visitors. I want to read this. It seems, I don't think I read this. Important legislation of the 1938 convention visitors. Any officer or officers of the UNIA and ACL who willfully and knowingly invite to or carcass with or in any way be responsible for any understood rival movement or any individuals representing such rival movement, or who may be responsible for any such appearing before a division of the UNIA in its meeting assembled to deliver any discourse that is calculated to lead members thereof to have thoughts or opinions or views after such address not consistent with the ideals of the UNIA shall be considered as committing a most serious offense against the Constitution and against the rights of membership of the UNIA, and shall, before close of such meeting, be immediately called to order by any members of the UNIA who understands the Constitution of the association for the purpose of clarifying and reestablishing the ideals of the association, and that such person responsible for the presence of the speaker or speakers shall be immediately or as early as possible thereafter be charged with breach of faith, first to the advisory board of his division and secondly to the parent body. And on the judgment of the parent body shall be removed from whatever office he holds if he is found guilty. But during the period of such complaint, either to advisory board or parent body, with said officer shall be considered as suspended until the parent body has given his decision, and this law should be effective in every particular as touching visitors who may come before the UNIA and whatsoever they may have to say tending to the Constitution of the firm belief of its members and ideals of the association. Wheresoever any visitor may be brought to the association and may say anything not in keeping with the ideals of the association, the officer so responsible for the appearance shall immediately on the statement of the individual arrest the statement and first clarify the statement, and where such has been done, it must be considered that all and every portion of this law be effective. So yeah, we shouldn't be trying to recruit for organizations that are not in line with the UNIA, basically. And any attempt to do so is, it will be addressed per the Constitution. Uniform, all members having surplices must wear them. The uniform appearance of the choir must be preserved. Non-observance of this rule was regarded as misconduct. So we don't have a choir. Any member taken sick shall immediately see if possible that the secretary librarian is notified either by letter, by announcement, or otherwise. Secretary librarian shall announce all sick members at meetings, rehearsals, or services, and a committee shall be appointed to visit them. Members shall make it their duty to visit individually all sick comrades and to spare no pains to do anything to alleviate their sufferings, regardless of whatever aid they may receive from the association. The term of office of all officers shall be as long as they give satisfactory services to the membership. Article 3, Article 2, Article 1, rules for the Universal Negro Improvement Association. So that was choirs. Wow. Article 3, laws for teachers. Teachers must meet once a week previous to meeting of general body of juveniles to receive instructions or familiarize themselves with the working of their class and department. Section 2, all teachers shall be appointed by the president of the local division. Section 3, all superintendents of juveniles shall see that all reports are kept properly so as to avoid disputes. The superintendent shall also have an assistant to aid in the working of its department. Section 4, the first assistant shall be held responsible to the superintendent for working of the department in meeting over which she presides. The superintendent shall be held responsible to the president of the division. 10 minutes and we'll shut it down for the night. I was working from the bottom. Membership and instruct. What is this? Rules and regulations governing the Universal African Motor Corps. Let me just read. All active members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association between the ages of 16 and 45 may become members of this auxiliary. The male membership, however, be confined to only those who are in active command of the units of the various divisions. All commissioned officers above the rank of major shall automatically be officers of this auxiliary. This auxiliary shall be trained in military discipline by the officers of the Universal African Legions. They shall also be given such automobile instructions as driving, repairs, etc. Article 7, uniform. Each active member of this auxiliary shall supply herself with her own uniform. This sounds like Black Cross nurses. Rules and regulations governing the Universal African Black Cross nurses. The objects of the auxiliary shall be on a system of relief and to supply the same in mitigating the suffering caused by pestilence, famine, fire, floods, and other great calamities, and to devise and carry on measures for preventing same, to attend to the sick of the divisions to which this auxiliary is attached, and be ready for service at any time when called upon by His Highness and Potentate. Black Cross Nurse is pretty straightforward. The oath. All members shall be required before giving their cards or commissions to take the following vow. This vow shall be printed in small type at the back of their cards at the bottom of their commission. The vow to be taken by all members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League shall be as follows. I, Brother John, in the presence of the Supreme God of the universe and all persons here assembled, do solemnly vow that I do here and now dedicate my whole life to the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League and the cause of redemption to my motherland, Africa. The pledge that I pledge strict obedience to support His Highness and Potentate and all of the persons designated by him or representing him, that I shall never disgrace myself or my uniform by insubordination or contemptuous behavior of any kind, that I believe, shall discreetly and to the best of my ability, spiritually, mentally, and physically defend the cause of the UNIA and ACL from all enemies within and without, and also do my utmost to build up and protect the morale of its members to the end that God's divine purpose be speedily accomplished in the ultimate freedom of all mankind from slavery and depoliation, and particularly the cause of the redemption of Africa. That oath has been amended and looks like it's been shortened. So I, Brother John, in the presence of the Supreme God of the universe and all persons here assembled, do solemnly vow that I here and now dedicate my whole life to the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League and the cause of the redemption of my motherland, Africa. That I shall never disgrace myself or my uniform by insubordination or contemptuous behavior of any kind. That I shall discreetly and to the best of my ability, spiritually, mentally, and physically defend the cause of UNIA and ACL from all enemies within and without, and also do my utmost to build up and protect the morale of its members to the end that God's divine purpose be speedily accomplished in the ultimate freedom of all mankind from slavery and despoliation. See, they spelled despoliation up here, and then down here they spell despoliation. I don't even know what that word is. And particularly the cause of the redemption of Africa. I feel like they had it right up here. Trust the elders. Despoliation, the action of despoiling or the condition of being despoiled, plunder. Okay, very helpful, plunder. Slavery, okay. All right, let me jump to the top for the last 5 minutes and recap some of the intro stuff. First thing that we have to know as Garveyites and as members of Division 421, first thing we should know is the preamble. If you don't know anything else about the Constitution or the UNIA, the preamble is what Garvey says, we should use to recruit as well as defend the organization from attacks, in the media and politics and things like that. Preamble of the Constitution. The Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League is a social, friendly, humanitarian, charitable, educational, institutional, constructive, and expansive society. It is founded by persons desiring to the utmost to work for the general uplift of the Negro peoples of the world, and the members pledge themselves to do all in their power to conserve the rights of their noble race and to respect the rights of all mankind, believing always in the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. The motto of the organization is one God, one aim, one destiny. Therefore, let justice be done to all mankind, realizing that if strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man. But with love, faith, and charity towards all, the reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and generations of men shall be called blessed. Jurisdiction is one of the things I like. First thing that they touch. This body shall be known as the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, UNIA-ACL. Its jurisdiction shall include all communities where people of African descent are to be found. In it alone are vested powers to establish subordinate divisions and other organizations whose objects shall be equal and be identical with those herein set forth, and its mandate shall be obeyed at all times and under all circumstances. The Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League reserves the right to fix, regulate, and determine all matters of a general or international nature as affects the objects of the organization and the membership at large. Objects and aims. They changed this? The objects of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League shall be to establish a universal confraternity among the race, to promote the spirit of pride and love, to reclaim the fallen, to administer to and assist the needy, to assist in the development of independent African nations and communities. So they took out the to administer to and to assist in civilizing the backwoods tribes of Africa. We didn't like this phrase, backwoods tribes of Africa, so we changed it to development of independent African nations and communities. To establish agencies and principal countries and cities of the world for the representation and protection of all Africans, irrespective of nationality. To promote a conscientious spiritual worship among all Africans in the diaspora, to establish universities, colleges, academies, and schools for the racial education and culture of the people, to conduct a worldwide commercial and industrial intercourse for the good of the people, and to work for better conditions in all African communities. We got a couple minutes left, so try to find something that's critical. Article 2, laws. The Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League may enact and enforce laws for its government that for subordinate divisions, organizations, and societies and members throughout the jurisdiction. The laws of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African, that's pretty powerful. Section 1, the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League may enact and enforce laws for its government and that for subordinate divisions, organizations, and societies and members throughout the jurisdiction. Section 2, the laws of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League shall be comprised in A, the Constitution, which shall contain the outlines, fundamental principles, and policies of the organization, its jurisdictions, and that of local divisions and societies, list of officers and all matters pertaining to their duties, the bylaws, which shall contain the order of procedure and convention, the specific duties of officers and committees, and the standing rules, the general laws, which shall contain all matters pertaining to the relations of members and local divisions and societies to each other. One man, one vote, 2014. Election of divisional officers. This is what we just did at the end of June. Divisions and subordinate organizations shall elect their officers. The president shall be elected by a majority vote, his or her division approved by the president general. Same thing. Term of office of rulers, the term of office of potentate, term of office of president general, 4 years. Potentate was taken out. potentate taken out. Okay. I don't see anything else. Guilty shall not receive money. All active members must approve Constitution. President General's title, his responsibilities. Chancellor, Council General, Assistant Council General. This is the offices of the High Executive Council. Okay. Well, it's 9:32. Supposed to stop at 9:30. But yeah, this will serve as our constitutional study. Let me find that again where it says that. So this is what I said in the beginning of the meeting, and we're recording this, but in the Constitution, they have a section called Education, and it states the Constitution of the Universal Negro Improvement Association shall be taught to members and officers of each division at least once every 3 months. So this is July. We will need to do this again in October. But every division of the UNIA, if they are a legitimate division, we should be studying the Constitution once every 3 months. So that completes everything that I have for tonight. Yeah, this is all new stuff. Black on black crime. Let me just read this one. UNIA-ACL vigorously opposes black on black crime in all African communities. African youth must be taught race, pride, and individual self-worth. UNIA-ACL supports positive community action we deem appropriate for the purpose of making our streets safe for our people, particularly the young and elders. Yeah, I don't understand like this. Like, we're not assigning any type of responsibility to the African Legion, to the Minister of Legions. This is just a complaint. We don't like black on black crime, but we put that in our Constitution. Like, I just don't understand that. I feel like there should be a attachment of responsibility to these claims. And if it's not, then you're just complaining. So I don't have anything else, Sister Ifaniyi. Did you have any questions before we move to close?
No, not right now. I'm enjoying it. Thank you, Brother John, for that wonderful presentation.
You're welcome. Sister Erica, I see you on. Did you have any questions?
No, Brother John, thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome. All right. Yeah, I'm getting ready to close out. Like I said, it's important. Specifically, it is our goal to be one of, if not the best constitutional division. So that means, when it comes to understanding the Constitution, knowing the Constitution, and abiding by the Constitution, I would like for Division 421 to be the exemplary division. So we have to be serious about studying the Constitution. Let me pull up something really quick for y'all. Training PowerPoint message to the people book. Cross nurses, here we go. Oh, this is not it. Bear with me. Why is this so hard? Let's real truth and the power. And this is to the people book. This is to Division 421. This is to the people. Here we go. Page 165. Last thing, then we'll close. We'll share. So talking about the importance of the Constitution. In the course of African philosophy, the course of African philosophy, Message to the People. This is the book that Marcus Garvey wrote to teach, let's see, write the word cadre. The immediate purpose of the course of African philosophy was to train a cadre of UNIA leaders who would carry on the great work of the organization after Garvey's death. So that's what this book is about. And so it's specifically for the leaders of the organization after Garvey's death. And he's got a section in here called How to Teach the UNIA. And in it, he says, to know what the UNIA is, you must first read its Constitution and Book of Laws from cover to cover. And that's exactly what we were doing tonight, is going through the Constitution and Book of Laws. So Book of Laws is in the Constitution. So it reinforces the importance of studying the Constitution, and the Constitution also has a requirement to look at it every 3 months. So we're finished for the month of July, and we will come back to this, as I said, in October. So with that, we can close out. If you would like, you can come off mute and repeat after me. One God.
One God,
One aim.
one aim,
One aim,
One destiny.
one destiny.
destiny.
Africa for the Africans.
Africa,
For the
Africans,
Africans,
Those at home and those abroad.
those at
those
home
at
and
home and those abroad.
abroad.
Race first. Thank you, sisters, for joining, and I hope you all have a blessed week.
Race first.
Race
You
first.
will.
Peace.
All right. Peace.